Hi Virgo, welcome. My name is Tiffany and this is the Feminine Inquisition. We're doing your reading. I'm just going to turn down the volume a tiny bit. I don't want to hit the yellow. Okay, cool. So I hope that you're well. Thank you for being here. We're doing a reading for the month of June, which is Gemini season. Gemini is closely related to you because you both are ruled by Mercury. And furthermore, Gemini holds the wisdom of contradiction. And so the nature of today's reading is to understand what it is, what two ideas you are holding on to that are burning in your pocket, how you can manage them, if they're disturbing, what you can integrate, and then adding Cancer's little tidbit, because it's within the month of June, why it's important, what it means for you. The idea is that the wisdom, the middle space between the two truths, two things can be true at the same time, is the little nugget that you need for evolution. Okay, so this is for the Virgo sun, moon, Venus, rising, any Virgo placements that you're checking up on. Do be sure to let me know if this resonates, and if it doesn't, please check your other placements or leave what's here. Do not take it if it does not fit. Okay, let's get into it. What are the two truths for Virgo? Two more shuffles. One more shuffle. First one. Thank you. And the second. Slippery, huh? Whether you leave, whether you stay. Ooh, wow. Okay, wait. No. Great. Great, great, great. I'm happy to see that the error is on me, not you. So, bottom of the deck is, I love this new green mat. I have so much more space. Bottom of the deck is the Knight of Wands. Okay, so we're talking about how to put your passion into the world, how to be fired up, how to be enthusiastic, how to keep it moving. One is, on the one hand, there's a serious idea that you're trying to communicate outwards, to bloom into this life, to birth, to divinely commune, right? As above, so below. We know enough now, if you're watching tarot, about how important the magician is. It is basically your ability to communicate with reality and to call into existence the things that you want to see in this life. Okay, is a great communicator, and he is also an alchemist in the sense that he is able to work with all of the elements. Right. Okay. Now, the other side of you, these are two thoughts. Remember, that's the nature of this spread. The other side here is still just as empowering, but it's a little bit more heady, and it's more about mentally persevering and abandoning a situation because for whatever reason you couldn't manipulate it, you couldn't make magic there, or the magic you had made is complete and or gone in a direction that you no longer agree with, or it does not serve you, and so something has created a chance for you to leave it behind. Okay, I don't have a whole lot of information. What I do know is that it has to do with desire. It has to do with passion. So is this a matter of controlling your impulses? There's something that you do really want that does fire you up, but at the same time, maybe you just don't like to be out of control. Is this you resisting someone making you feel unsteady? There's Venus in Virgo, threatening your independence, making you question what compromise could look like if you were to build a dream with someone else. Ooh, yes, love would ask you to change. That is fair. Sorry, I'm just going to move this candle. Love would definitely ask you to change, and that can be uncomfortable. I understand your reservations. Don't think that I don't get it. And if it's not love, it can also be something else, right? Like you could be writing a book. You can be putting an album together. You could be demoing a house. There's a lot of things that once you begin to get deeply into the process, it becomes part of you. You become part of it, and it is transformational. And you have to call a quits on the things that don't help you reach that end goal or that stand in the way, the limits of what it is that you would like to see, how you would like to show up, what it is that you'd like to generate. It is so interesting. The Ten of Swords has shown up now. I've done 3 signs only. Like, it's still not even June 1st. Doing quite well for my timing. Anyway, the thing is that this is the sun in Gemini, and it has shown up for each of the readings, 3 different decks. Okay. So there's going to be a transformation to the limit, the dead end, the blind spot of something that you can't see. And it's not just about communication. It is about your ideas on what desire do for independence, how you show up alone, resourceful, counting on other people, creating and providing comfort for yourself. Yeah, there's a lot here. But let me just go back again. Here's desire. Here's the will to push through with change. Here's yes, I can. And here's I'd prefer not to. I'd rather not. Okay, so let's get some information. Can I see the Magician? Can I shuffle the card this way? Can I see the Magician? One more. This is the Before Tarot. Can I see the Magician, please? Thank you. Ace of Pentacles, right? Okay. 4 of Swords, Queen of Cups, and the Emperor. So there was an opportunity, right? This is the Before Tarot, so it's talking about the position that happened before those 2 cards that came through. We have a split here. What's happening? The 3 of Wands, the waiting. Let's just keep that out so that I can see it, just so you remember. Here we have the 9 of Pentacles, and the idea and the imagery of this card is drawn so that you know there's no tether, there's no chain to this bird. And so she is so confident that she can let the bird fly because that which is hers will always come back to her. And here we can see that there's a message about what it's like to wait to get to maybe this kind of status, what it has taken for you in manifestation powers over and over and over again to get confident with how you make good of opportunities. But anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. 4 of Pentacles is at the bottom of the deck. This is a very rigid, this is a very structured, this is a very Capricornian energy of holding on to something so much, so strongly with such a strong rigid way that it has a hold on you. And so, but in the Before Tarot, we see a guy where 3 people, individuals, could have their own pentacle, but they are offering it up to him. And so there is a status here of what you are and what you think other people think you are. Again, remember, this refers back to the 10 of Swords. The construct of your mind suggests that you perceive yourself through the lens of other people as a reliable source by which investments are made. And you are dependable, and people want to give over to you because you make great decisions. And none of this is untrue. All of it is very much true. Standing here, first card out, one of the biggest ideas you have still going forward through the month of June is, I'm a magician. And yes, you are. Here's the opportunity coming in my hands as I'm shuffling. And the opportunity has to do, the opportunity has to do with something that had no application. The 4 of Swords. There's a sense of gratitude, of course. The butterflies are there to suggest that some change is happening. But it is definitely a stillness. It is definitely a stoicism. It is also a funeral. There is the Three of Swords, which is pain, the Four of Swords, which is the ability to process that pain and find peace and rest and put it to bed, because the mental disturbance of the Three of Swords is that it does not have a resolve. It is the construct that we have to push through. Again, another swords card. So this is regarding a mind, a mental thing. Now, you know that you rule the nervous system. And so what happens? I've got the Queen of Cups, the waters of the emotion, a dolphin arriving with the cup. In the way that the Ace of Pentacles arrives, two hands, one giving, one receiving. Dolphin shows up, doesn't have a hand, okay, but there's the hand receiving. And then the Emperor. So you, standing in your power, you have manifested this as the authority on your life. Here you are, Four of Pentacles. Here you are, Magician, manifesting, calling into your existence a new pentacle. And you do this ad infinitum, okay? And how you will handle it is with the Queen of Cups and the Emperor, whomever those people may be. Four of Pentacles, Judgment, Knight of Cups, Page of Swords. So there's a lot of people here. I don't know who they are, but maybe you do. What I do know is that Judgment is here, taking a closer look at something. Judgment about what it meant to stand in this position, or what it is to be here, offered something as you take leave. This is initiation energy. There's the bird again. Right. Okay. So I don't know. This is a lot of information. There's a lot of burdens here. What I want to say is that something about your manifestations has taken you to a judgment to really come into question and observe if you can stand on your own independently, or go through a change for what it is that you couldn't see as possible. And I know that that Ten of Swords refers back to this Four of Swords. And I know that Venus in Virgo refers to matters of the heart. I have a Queen of Cups and a Knight of Cups here. And I know that all of this has to do with whether or not you can find an application for this extra Ace of Pentacle. But let's take a look at the Six of Swords. How you got to a place where you got into a boat. Because this all looks pretty good. How you got into a boat and decided to take off, okay? For June, for Virgo. Let's try that again. Let's try that again. All of this. Let's try all of this again. For Virgo, for June. Okay. As you like. I'm not going to fight with you. Thank you. Two more. One more. For Virgo. For June. Thank you. So, the Chariot, gotta go. Just gotta keep it moving. The Hermit, wow. Two huge energies back to back. We have the Chariot, which is Cancerian energy, which we know will be part of June as well. Five of Swords. This is it. This is it. The Six of Swords is connected to the Four of Swords over here. Of course they're connected. It's you. But the two ideas that are pulling you in two different directions that we must reconcile, King of Pentacles, is how you find, how you deem, how you maintain, how you keep, how you feel about your independence, your stability. Here it is, right here in the center. So Virgo, Venus in Virgo is a hard placement. I'm not going to lie to you. It is. I know 2 people with Venus in Virgo, and it's hard. Okay, so let's just say that. Everyone loves to talk about the great confidence of the 9 of Pentacles, but that's a very difficult energy to maintain because why? Virgo, I'm not gonna, we're just gonna have to talk through it, okay? Do not feel attacked. You like things to be the way that you like things to be. I'm just going to say that. And you also are living in such a way that, knowing that, you've set yourself up and made consistent choices so that you don't have to depend on anyone, so that you can have things the way that you like them. Is that a bad thing? Absolutely not. Does it make you hard sometimes? Yes. Not hard to understand, hard to navigate. Because it's unbudging, it's unwavering, and it's not like in the consistent way, like you're committed, although you are, it's non-compromising, non-negotiable. And you do it in the matter of quality, but that's not how it feels when someone wants to offer you love or a messy something, because sometimes life is messy when the words aren't right. And when things don't match in your ultimate idea of design, color combo, or whatever. So the Hierophant is here to suggest everything I just explained. This is the kind of energy that gives, grants permission, or doesn't. And it's not arbitrary. It's due to a very built-in value system that is as old as it looks. The papacy, right? So what we're talking about is the ways in which your the embodiment of how you show up as a manifester is, sorry, I'm gonna sneeze. I have terrible allergies, so I'm really sorry. The embodiment of you as a manifester, which is inherently who you are, is up against a schism of something that has to do with an emotional thing, let's say that, an emotional attachment that has no application, and a departure so that you can better understand why it was manifested in the first place, because you're quite content in this stable place as king, head of state. You don't need anything, you want for nothing. Everything you have, you take the best care of, so that it would never break down. And if it did, you would have known already, and you would have been prepared. So so you're just, yeah, that's where you're at with this. But I want to know about the manifestation, okay? I want to know about the Ace of Pentacles. Can I see the Ace of Pentacles, please? I want to know the wish. I want to know the star. Can I see the Ace of Pentacles? Because it is still here, you know? I think that it's inevitably whatever your heart desires. So you're very adaptable in that way. You are a mutable sign, so you can change for what you think serves you best at that moment. Can I see this Ace of Pentacles, please, for Virgo for the month of June? Okay. You're not letting me shuffle. Thank you. One more clean shuffle. Ace of Pentacles, Virgo in June. Thank you. Ace of Cups, Three of Pentacles, Eight of Swords, Two of Pentacles. Okay, so there's the second step and the third step, the Sun. Right. So it is about happiness. It is about being seen. Visibility is about growth. It is prosperity. A huge level of faith, connection, joy, curiosity, wonder, beauty. And the Eight of Swords shows up again. Now, this is Mercury, your ruler, in Gemini. This is another card that showed up in both readings I've done so far. So it's critical. It's a critical hit. Gemini season is full on for people about what they have as limits of their cognition, their limits of their thinking, their ability to voice these concerns, and the structure of their psychology, what they have told themselves, what they don't listen when they speak, what they refuse to look at, and how they inhibit themselves from being able to communicate to the ones that they love the most, maybe, or who can potentially have a huge impact on their life in terms of evolution, in terms of growth, in terms of what they're after, right? Because you're not the first person to be manifesting. You're not the only person to be willing things into existence. So the Ace of Pentacles has a mechanism by which it can go quickly through the 2 and the 3. Why? Because you're used to this. You're good at it. And these 4 cards don't sit just on that side, right? This is what is the opportunity. The opportunity is all of that I just explained. It also makes you feel like you don't have your hands. You can't see it. You overthink it. You catastrophize what could possibly go wrong. You know, that's something that I know very, very well about Virgos. It is a tendency to go over and over the specific details with your lovely analytical mind about what could go wrong. And in every respect, you are trying to be prepared. But then you can't even make a move. You get so deep in that you can't even make a move, become paralyzed. And so that I could see charging you to just take a moment, take a breather, take a holiday, mentally persevere. Let me just go someplace to cool my head. These cards are not very different from each other. Just this puts it in a dormant state and continues to carry on in the public sphere, you know, as head of state, as the emperor. And this one is maybe more of the internal work. When you are in your own, when you're alone, in your quiet hours, you might know that there's a stirring underneath. You might feel very uncomfortable, and you might be questioning yourself these things about how did I gotta make a move, but how did I get to this point where the thing that I had wanted, if I make a move on it, it questions my stability and my independence, and why does my mind see it that way? I think it's full on for you at the moment. Hierophant, but you do have a position of power where you just say, okay, no, 4 of Swords, 6 of Swords. I put it to bed, or I think about it later when I'm by myself. I don't need to clarify any of that. Where's this going? Where is this going, then? For the rest of the month. Next step. Four of Cups, the Strength, Four of Wands, the Queen of Pentacles, the Five of Wands, and the Eight of Pentacles. The Devil. Capricorn energy floating on. Capricorn energy here with the King and Queen of Pentacles. Might have it in your chart. Could be pulling down on it because this is an intense moment. Since I've had the Queen of Cups, the Ace of Cups, and I saw something else in the matter of connection. Venus and Virgo, I saw the Nine of Pentacles. So calling love and adoration to you. This could be, if this is love, right? If this is someone that you care about, there's the strength to, a strength to keep it together in the home, a strength to, I feel like you're avoiding arguments with this Four of Cups, and I don't really know how to say that. And I'm saying that because the Five of Wands is over here, and you're doing your best to subdue the situation. But if you're in a connection, and that's how I'm seeing this, I'm reading for a Virgo who has someone in particular in mind, and they may live with them. And that person knows you better than you think that they do, and even maybe better than you know yourself, because when you think that you are biting your tongue and when you think that you are choosing your battles, there is still a sort of aggression that comes through, and it's difficult because the Queen energy here, whether it's boundaries that someone puts on you, but it's boundaries that you try to put out there so that you don't show what you're dealing with, or whether it's a direct fight where someone confronts you and says, we already saw this, we know that this doesn't work, this is not how we talk to each other, this is not how we move, and I thought you said you were going to work on it. Could look like that. It could also look like a lot of combative words in the day-to-day while you continue to persevere in making your sacrifices, and them too, whomever it is, right? The day-to-day, because the Pentacles are still very much part of your life. The job, the grind is a huge part of your life. And if you are in a relationship, then the person that you're with typically is also involved in the grind. At least respective that you're always in the grind. The Devil. What else? The Hermit. There it is again. So the Six of Pentacles, Six of Cups, Ten of Swords again. Okay. Where's this going? A fight. It's a fight. And it's because, like I said, the two ideas here, there is avoidance. I'm not saying that you left it because you wanted to avoid it, but because it triggered something in you, the Devil, you needed to go figure that out. I don't think either you communicated that well, you couldn't, and or you didn't really have much of a chance because you live with someone and they know. So sometimes it's best to just say, I'm tripping out. I love you. I want to be with you. But at the same time, I'm worried that I'm not going to be able to continue to maintain my work, or we're going to continue to make money, or I'm worried that I'm going to have to carry you. I don't know. There's hard words can come out from describing what are real fears. And these triggers are there's such a beautiful moment to share with people that you love, that your mind can really send you into a deep spiral. But sharing that is how you get to conversations where you learn what makes the person that you care about uncomfortable. And in turn, you share what makes you uncomfortable. And the only reason that you're together is to make each other more comfortable. So if you don't know what makes each other uncomfortable, you can't be very good at that relationship. That's the whole point of relating. Right. Okay. Enough about that. Let me just see the fight. This looks like 4 to the 5 of Wands. We go from what was comfortable to maybe uncomfortable. Can I see if there's a little argument or a tiff here? Can I see it? Hanged Man. Oh, Pisces back to back. King of Wands, which we saw. 9 of Wands. 4 cards. The 4 of Pentacles. Okay, more Capricornian energy. So I think that, again, and I'm not trying to pick on you, it does come to rigidity, and it's partly because of how much Capricorn is on the table, but also because of how much, well, not only Capricorn, but the cards that Capricorn represents are on the table. This is the after tarot deck, okay? So this is after the fight. This is what we're looking at. And there is a chance that whatever was a block or a hold, you couldn't speak. The mechanism that would normally take the ace to the 2 to the 3 finds its way to work because we are at the 4. And that's really good. Okay? That means that perhaps you find a way to work together. The Hanged Man is here, and there is 2 people in the imagery, which is so unusual. So that means that both of you take part in what is the stillness. That could be what this looks like, the 2 of you going to work and continuing the day-to-day. Or that from one of you going through that, the shift in perspective has become available. Literally, as a metaphor, you see in the imagery, drinking the cup from another's hand. So this is like trying on perspectives, being intuitively guided to take a lead, maybe having the courage to follow one's intuition and have faith rather than needing to say no directly from, you know, what you're used to, what feels good for the comfort zone, what you know has worked previously. There's a very old patriarchy kind of, this is the way it's always been done in the Hierophant. And the King of Wands, he's a modern man. He's a shapeshifter. He's adaptable, like fire, holding the salamander, right? Doesn't even need to hold the wand. Like, he's such a leader that he doesn't need the symbol of power. He can instead play with a little salamander. Okay, now this part. I love that that in this deck, the 9 of Wands has 2 people, because the 9 of Wands is always a tricky card. First of all, it's the moon in Sagittarius, which is in the full moon on the 31st. So that's how we start June. And maybe that's a point of culmination for the 2 of you, because you have the Hangman and the High Priestess. These are both Piscean cards in tarot. The moon rules Pisces. Okay. Now, normally this card means resilience or resistance, which is so tricky, right? But with 2 people here, again, like 2 people in a card that normally has only one person, we can see that the front, this row of wands, all of your actions up until this point, they are guarded by both you and whomever it is that you are working on this with. Does not have to be a love situation, but whomever it is that you find the yin to your yang for this opportunity that is coming up. Whoever has jeopardized how you perceive your authority, whoever has made you question if you are bad at compromising, if you are one-sided, whomever has made you take a little bit of a closer look at who you are as the magician, aka manipulator, has brought you some new information. And for that, you should be forever grateful. I don't know exactly what your transformation will look like, but I do know that the death is here, blocking whatever blocks were there, the rigidity that was there, that was stopping this pentacle from going through its normal growth processes. The death will remove that for you, okay? Or at least ask that of you. I don't know everything about the whole month, but that's beautiful. That you're better having gone through this. And like I said, these conversations are everything if you're in a relationship, okay? Wow, 35 minutes. Do you have enough patience for me for 35 minutes, Virgo? Leave me a note in the comments if you'd love. If you're like about to leave. Anything else? Anything else for the month of June? I'm just gonna let them come out. Anything else? Just wanted to come into my hand. The Hanged Man, Ten of Pentacles, right? Any advice? It's asking you to sit in stillness. It knows, Spirit knows that this place in between of the Queen of Cups, loving yourself, calling judgment on yourself, this place that you want to go to for your calm. Whoa. Wow. So in the After Tarot, they're not across her heart. And I think this is a heart issue. It's why the Queen of Cups is here 2 times. And I think that's why we've seen cards like the Four of Cups. Look, I think that you were triggered because it felt destabilizing to your security, for how much you felt on a watery level. You couldn't communicate that well, and then you felt burdened because you were maybe blocked with communication, that it was going to interrupt your pentacles. And once you mess with the earth signs pentacles, it's game over. So then there's a fight. And in that fight, you get a fresh perspective and you take a sip of someone else's waters and you understand, yeah, you know what? I did have a blind spot. What was that blind spot? Remember I talked about the 10 of Swords. Well, it's not here now, but we saw it, and it's the Sun in Gemini. I think that's basically what you can call judgment on. And be better for. Now, I don't know if anything resonated here. I hope that it has. If it did, please let me know. So like, share, comment, thumbs up, everybody. And until the next time I read for you. Ciao, Virgo.